Peace be upon you, dear viewers. As you know, the Ottoman state has now been officially established. After the conquest of Bursa, Orhan Bay, the second ruler of the Ottoman dynasty and its first true sultan, built not just a city but a fully developed state system. Official institutions for state governance were created and administrative and military reforms were put into practice. During this same period, Orhan Bay openly declared his independence by refusing to pay tribute to the Ilkhanid state, effectively sounding the drums of war. However, dear viewers, when we look closely at historical realities, there is a very important point we must not overlook. During Orhan Bay's reign, the Ilkhanid state was already in a period of decline. Although the Mongol state still existed officially, its central authority had become extremely weak. Mongol governors in Anatolia were ineffective, which allowed Turkish beyliks such as the Ottomans, Karamanids, Karasids, and Germanids to act independently. The period depicted in the series corresponds to the reign of Abu Sa'id Bahadur Khan, the last powerful ruler of the Ilkhanids. After Abu Sa'id's death, the Ilkhanid state completely fragmented and disappeared from the stage of history. Here, one crucial fact must be emphasized clearly. Orhan Bey did not engage in a major direct war with the Mongols. Instead, he quietly increased his power by taking advantage of their internal conflicts and built his state on solid foundations. In reality, Orhan Bey's primary enemies were the Byzantines, Romans. However, the series presents the opposite picture. Byzantium is portrayed as Orhan Bey's ally, while the Mongols are shown as the main enemy. This portrayal does not align with historical facts. According to historical sources, by the year 1326, approximately 16 years had passed since Orhan Bey's marriage to Asporsha Hatun. By that time, the Ottoman-Byzantine alliance had long ended, and Orhan Bey had already begun his campaign toward Nicaea, Iznik. Yet in the series, Asporsha Hatun is still shown as the governor of Iznik, which is historically quite puzzling. Of course, it is possible that these historical events will be depicted in later episodes. However, it is likely that the series will not follow a strict chronological order. In today's video, we will share with you very important details about the upcoming episode, details you won't hear anywhere else. That's why we strongly recommend watching the video until the very end. In this episode, we will see which of his close alps Orhan Bey assigns to key positions after becoming sultan. We will also discuss the arrival of a new historical character, someone who has not received much attention so far but holds a very important place in Ottoman history. In addition, the story of Flavius, the approaching great battle, the major martyrdoms that will take place in this war, and events that will deeply affect Ottoman history will all be among the main topics of our video. We will also examine the issue of Demir Han in detail. How will Demir Han pose a threat to Orhan Bey? Why will Orhan Bey have Demir Han imprisoned? Will there truly be a final confrontation between the Ottomans and the Mongols? For answers to all these questions, don't forget to watch the video until the end. Dear viewers, the brotherhood between Orhan Bey and Alaeddin Bey is one of the most exemplary relationships in Ottoman history. Power, position, and authority never came between these two brothers. According to historical records, immediately after Orhan Bey became sultan, his brother Alaeddin Bey offered to divide the state and said, "Let you rule half of the state and I will rule the other half." However, Alaeddin Bey rejected this proposal and replied, "Our father, Ghazi Osman Bey, appointed you as sultan, therefore I choose to serve under you." For this reason, Orhan Bey appointed Alaeddin Bey as the first Grand Vizier of the Ottoman state. Alaeddin Bey is regarded as the first systematic administrator of the Ottomans and one of their most important reformers. The series portraying him as Grand Vizier is historically accurate. Alaeddin Bey refused military duties and said, "I wish to serve not with the sword, but with the pen." The relationship between Orhan Bey and Alaeddin Bey was built on trust, respect, and love. There was never any struggle for the throne or intrigue between these two brothers. Thanks to this, the Ottoman state was protected from internal turmoil. Now, the fact that Alaeddin Bey proposes laying the foundations of the Janissary Corps in the series indicates that significant historical developments await us. Alaeddin Bey suggested establishing a permanent army loyal to the state by raising orphaned and abandoned children. Historically, the Janissary Corps was established around 1363 during the reign of Sultan Murad I and became the Ottoman Empire's first standing army. Before this, the Ottomans relied on Ghazis from Turkish tribes, who were loyal to their own beys rather than fully devoted to the central authority. Thus, a disciplined permanent army loyal solely to the Sultan was created. Of course, the Janissaries' later involvement in politics and their eventual corruption is a separate topic of discussion. Now let us turn to the matter of Demir Han. Will this character only last for a few episodes? Why will Orhan Bey have Demir Han thrown into prison? Demir Han, one of the leaders of the Karasi Beylik, openly opposed Orhan Bey. He also formed a secret alliance with Timurtash. According to historical sources, Demir Han saw the Ottomans as the greatest rising threat and deeply feared Orhan Bey's military and political genius. In contrast, his brother Dursun Bey believed the Karasids should cooperate with the Ottomans. This disagreement grew over time, and Demir Han, driven by ambition for power, had his own brother Dursun Bey killed. This murder led to a major civil war within the Karasi Beylik. Commanders who suffered under Demir Han's tyranny sought help from Orhan Bey. Orhan Bey first had Demir Han imprisoned and later executed him. As a result, the Karasi Beylik was incorporated into Ottoman territory. A similar process is expected to occur in the series. After Dursun's death, Demir Han's end appears to be near. However, since the character Halime is fictional, her storyline will likely remain unfinished. Now let us talk about the very important figure who will join Orhan Bey's side, Hacı İlbey. Hacı İlbey initially served as a soldier of the Karasi Beylik. When internal conflicts weakened the Beylik, he entered the service of Orhan Bey. Hacı İlbey was an extremely important commander in Ottoman history. He gained great fame through his conquests in Rumelia. At a time when the Crusaders besieged Sultan Murad I, Hacı İlbey inflicted a crushing defeat upon them. He died after the Battle of Sırpsındı. According to some accounts, Lala Şahin Pasha, the conqueror of Edirne, poisoned Hacı İlbey out of jealousy over his fame. This historical hero will soon appear alongside Orhan Bey in the series. In Kurulus, Osman, the character İlbey was portrayed as a traitor. However, this İlbey will be shown as a true hero of history. Dear viewers, which historical character do you think must appear in the series? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Now let us move on to the topic of Flavius. At first, it was thought that Flavius would convert to Islam solely because of Fatma. However, this storyline was deemed unsuitable and was changed. According to the new scenario, Flavius will convert to Islam after being deeply influenced by the faith itself. As a broken man searching for his identity, he will find the truth. Seeing Orhan Bey as the most powerful Muslim leader in the region, he will go to him and pledge allegiance. As an experienced Byzantine commander, Flavius will make a significant contribution to Orhan Bey's strength. As for the wars, although the series currently depicts an Ottoman-Byzantine alliance, Orhan Bey's next target will be Nicaea, Iznik. History makes this very clear. Orhan Bey conquered Iznik in 1331, just 5 years after Bursa. Most likely, this conquest will be shown in the series through a time jump. During this process, Orhan Bey's marriage to Asporça Hatun will appear on screen. Timurtaş's massacre of innocent people will enrage Orhan Bey and ignite the spark of a great war. After Hector's death, new enemies are expected to emerge. A new Byzantine commander will replace Flavius, and the Ottoman-Byzantine alliance will come to an end. Orhan Bey will once again fight against the Crusaders, and with the conquest of Iznik, a new chapter will open in Ottoman history. During this time, the martyrdoms of close companions such as Şahin Şah Bey and Boran Bey will deeply affect the audience. Additionally, the character Malhun Hatun is expected to be written out of the series. Historically, she should be in old age, yet her continued appearance in the streets of Bursa has been criticized by viewers.